Okay, I'm going to show you the effect of on your bottom line of increasing sales to current customers using 4 steps. First thing we're going to do is we're going to increase our conversion rate. And what I mean by that is the number of prospects that come in the door. You're going to work on developing systems, questions, checklist, training, whatever it takes to help you and your employees convert more of them into customers. All right. Second thing we're talking about is increasing the average order of each size of each purchase. And we commonly refer to this as upselling and cross-selling. I mean, what we're basically trying to do is we're trying to give you an example from us. If they come in for the tax return, it's a business, we're going to review it. If we see they have a problem with bookkeeping, then we might sell them bookkeeping services. If we see that they have a large tax bill and can use tax planning, we'll sell them tax planning. So what we're trying to do, again, is to get more from each customer. The main cost is getting that prospect to do your marketing or advertising, to get that prospect to show up at your door. So once they get there, you want to do everything in your power to sell them more. Now, obviously, I'm not telling you to sell them stuff they don't need. What you're doing is you're looking for other places that your products or additional services and products you have will be able to help them solve a problem they have. And the third thing is getting them to come back more often. This often there's a number of ways to do that. One, you can look for other places where you can help them. We do that. They come in for a tax return during tax season. We look for a place where they can do financial planning later, or a seminar later, or coaching later. You can often do that. Another thing we do is we send out a lot of information to help them remember us in between purchases. If they were just a tax return, they just come in once a year. So what we want them to do, we want them to remember us. We have a blog where we send them information and education. We send them emails. We send them a written newsletter. We can hold seminars. You can do the same kind of thing where you're actually looking at trying to find ways to get that customer to remember you and to come back more often. The fourth thing you want to do is you actually want to get them to refer. I mean, let's face it, just about every small business lives or dies on referrals. So obviously, the first thing you need to do them is wow them with your service. You need them. Yeah, I mean, you want to find a way to go above and beyond what they expected. But really, the secret to this, if nothing else, is to make it easy for them to refer. So, yeah, I'm going to go in. I went into it in the article some, but what you want to do is you basically want to say, hey, do you know anybody else that needs my service? Well, if you ask me that, of course, I'm going to go no. But let's say you're a photographer and you just delivered the pictures and help them out. Do you know anybody else that's having a wedding in the family that had a new birth? Do you have any of your friends that had a new baby? They really want to capture those pictures right now. Do you have one of your friends that's having a quinceanera, a birthday party, graduation? So you try to refresh their memory by asking them those type of leading questions. Once you have that, once you understand that, then you're getting them to refer more often. Now let's show some numbers and let's try to show you the effect of this. Let's pop this up and let's set a scenario. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you a typical way that most businesses do. Let's take this business that has 2,000 gets on average 2,000 leads per month. And they do pretty well. They convert about 50% of these into customers. And let's say their average sale is $100 a month, and we're going to say that each customer they have refers, every 2 customers refers one. Each one refers a half, which would be doing pretty darn good, by the way. But just for this scenario, let's use that. So let's do the math. Okay, in a typical month, they get $100,000, and what that is really is pretty simple. This is a spreadsheet. You can see it. 1,000 sales times $100, $100,000 a month. 1.2 million in sales. Not a bad little business. What happens if they go out and spend a bunch of money on advertising and increase the number of leads they get by 25%? So what we're saying is that they bring in more new prospects to call them up, come into their store, come into their shop, come visit you, whatever. You're getting more meetings. So in this particular case, 25% of 2,000 is another 500 people calling you for a total of 2,500. You're still converting 50 of them at $100. There's 25,000, $300,000. Not bad. You get 125,000 a month, 1,500,000. As long as you're not spending more than $25,000 to get this, that's not bad. And that's how most people do it. They're doing what we call concentrating on outbound advertising. So let's take a look. Let's do this slightly different. What I ask people to do, and I tell people the very first, any of my clients that I'm consulting with, the very first thing I want them to do is to work on sales to current customers. So let's look at it and let's change this. Let's go to this particular one. Same example. Except what we're going to do is we're going to have a 10% increase in conversion rate using the ways we talked about earlier. So instead of only getting 1,000, we're basically getting an extra 100, which turns into another 120,000 a year, 10,000 a month. Now we're going to get them to come back, all right, to purchase 10% more every time they get here. So instead of having an average order size of 100, it's an average order size of 110, and it's on more customers, so it's $11,000 more per month. Now we get them to come back 10% more. I'm sorry. This is the one, I apologize. This is the one that they refer 10% more friends. So again, we're getting them to bring in 110 more customers per month, another $11,000. And here's the one I said earlier. We get them to upsell. We get a 10% increase in the number of sales, the average order size, the average ticket size. And here what we're looking at is another 132 orders basically. And look at what we've done. We've had an increase 145,000 from what we had before, 100,000 to 145, $1.7 million, or a 45% increase in sales without spending a single dime on outbound advertising. Totally powerful. Every company I've ever worked with, they're usually small businesses. They usually don't have the budget, and the first thing they tell me is they can't afford the market. But they know they're in trouble. They don't have the sales they want. This is where you start. You start with these four areas, and you start with sales. Now let's take it a little step further. What if you basically decided to do both? Once you get those four things in place, let's now do the advertising. All right, we do it. This is exhibit 3 where we're saying let's do the advertising. We have the 2,000 sales per month we had before, but now we're going to do the advertising. Look at what it does. You can go through the math yourself if you want to. Pause this video and look at it. But I've literally increased by $1 million, literally a 91% increase. I don't know what that is. Let's make that go away. But by combining advertising and those four steps, you can have a 91% increase in sales. Moral of the story is pretty simple. Don't buy a whole lot of advertising until you've tightened up these four areas. Once you've tightened up those four areas, advertising then becomes even more powerful because you're bringing in 25% more, and you're learning and know how to convert them, how to make them come back more often, how to refer their friends, and how to buy more each time they're there. That's it for this one, and I want to thank you. And until next time we meet, let's make this our best year ever. Thank you.